Have you ever felt alone? Have you ever felt forgotten? Or like you didn't matter, that the world was against you? If you have, I have some advice for you. Do not, whatever you do not read this book. This is John Stamos' memoir. It's titled If You Would Have Told Me. And I've been reading this for the past week, and I finally am finished with it. And it was not an enlightening experience for me by any means. About a week ago, I was at Barnes & Noble, my favorite place on earth. I was looking, and I was like, what book am I going to get? Because every time I go there, I end up walking away with some book, and it's getting kind of ridiculous.
Stop it. Get some help.
I saw that the celebrity memoirs were 50% off. Great. I love celebrity memoirs. I loved Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I love Rob Lowe's autobiography. As an aspiring young actor, I look to these people. I look up to them. I want to know how they did what they did. I want to do exactly what they did. I saw that they were 50% off. And then I reached in the middle of the pile of the John Stamos ones. I was like, oh, John Stamos, that sounds interesting.
Nick Manette.
I saw that it was a signed edition in the 50% off section. And so I took it as an omen. I said, oh my God, this is meant to be. This is meant to be. John Stamos is speaking to me. And if I read this book, my life is going to be forever changed. I'm going to be a famous actor. I'm going to follow in the footsteps of greatness and get my own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Oh my God, I couldn't have been more wrong. So here is his signature in all of its glory. And I didn't like it. Usually with like autobiographies and memoirs, it makes you like the person more. It like tells more about the person. It tells you where they started from. This did none of those things for me. I had many gripes about this book. John Stamos is in love with himself, apparently. John Stamos is more attractive than you. John Stamos is more talented than you. And John Stamos is more famous than you, in case you didn't realize. There were several points throughout the book where he explicitly said that he was famous, which, like, even though that's true, that really irks me and really it really fires me up. We know you're famous. You don't need to say that you're famous. You don't need to tell your audience that you're famous. Of course you're freaking famous. You're on the cover of a book that's in Barnes & Noble, so you have to be relevant in some terms. He referred to himself as a heartthrob. He calls himself attractive. He says that he's handsome. Whatever. But it's like, yeah, dude. Like, thank you. We get it. It just lifts himself up. I don't know if this was an assignment from his life coach or his therapist or whatever, but it was mind-boggling to me. I was like, what is going on? I cannot read any more of this, or I might lose my mind. I couldn't even read it cover to cover. I had to skip a few chapters. There's a few like chapters about his wife or his second wife or his kids. Or personally, I don't really care about that much. I only knew him from Full House, but apparently the guy's been on freaking Broadway and in general hospitals where he got his start and ER, and that's awesome. This book just did not hit the right spots for me. See, look at there's the little jerk sitting and smiling and. This will not be going on my bookshelf. Actually, I can just throw it over there. It just isn't worthy of gracing the wood of my bookshelf.
What?
I don't know, like maybe I'll sell it on eBay for like $5. If you're gonna read a memoir like that, I'd say read this. It's so much better. And Rob Lowe's actually a sweet and kind human being and not a total jerk. In the foreword by Jamie Lee Curtis, quote, I love him and I respect him and I need him. We all do. No, we don't. I didn't need him before. I especially don't need him now. I'm sorry, John, but this was a miss. We're going to give this a 4 out of 10. And that's really just how the cookie's going to crumble for Johnny Stamos.
Oh, mercy.
If you watch him on Howard Stern or any other talk show or podcast, all he does is regurgitate the information that's been in his book. So the same stories from his book are the stories he tells on talk shows. And the stories consist of this. Let me tell you. Okay, here we go. So John Stamos actually performed with the Beach Boys. He was boys with them, I guess. And so they were going to bring John Stamos on for the encore. And they're like, Johnny, listen, after fun, you're going to go backstage for the encore, okay? And as John Stamos is going up for the encore in the stadium, I don't know what stadium it is, the stadium, he gets mobbed by a group of screaming teenage girls. It's like Beatlemania all over again. It's crazy. And there John Stamos is on the Jumbotron. He's just right there in all of his legendary glory, just standing there like, oh my God, this is crazy. He tells that in his book. He tells that in Howard Stern. He tells that in God knows what else. And I'm sick of it. Tell a different story. We don't care how much the girls like you. We don't care about the time you lost your virginity. We don't care. We don't care. So please, get a grip. Don't ever write a book again, please. And if you do, keep it as far out of my sight and my hands as possible. And have a great night. I'm sorry if I'm just...